All right, y'all. So I just recently finished the movie Mantis, a continuation of the Kill Boksoon storyline, assassination movie. Uh, it was good. I thought it was a good movie. I liked it. I don't think it's as good as Kill Boksoon, but I like the movie Mantis. So how would I best how would I best describe what happened in the movie in the simplest terms possible? All right. All right. So the movie starts off with the Mantis on the job. He is on a contract assassination job. Then after the job, he gets a call saying that Gil Boksoon has killed the former chairman of MK Enterprises, Min Q. She also assassinated the lady above the chairman, and she also assassinated like what a hundred employees for MK Enterprises. So needless to say, she pretty much gutted the company, and the stock of MK Enterprises is plummeting really quick. And we need somebody to fill in the chairman role. So after um after Mantis gets off of his vacation, which he was on during the Gil Boksoon ordeal. So after he gets off of his vacation, he, along with his teacher, Doc Go, and his friends and everybody that worked for MK has to now make a choice. You either become a freelance assassin and you just strike out for yourself, make money for yourself, try to live just for yourself, or you make a company for yourself and try to bring people with you and hopefully make another MK Enterprises level company for yourself and whoever you're working with, or you can work for MK Enterprises itself and try to build it back up. Now, the Mantis's former teacher, Doc Go, he decides to fill in the chairman role. Mantis himself decides to take his friend J.E. and her friends, about four other people, and they try to strike out and make a company for themselves and hopefully deal with the freelancers problem along with MK Enterprises, because it's a problem for both of them. There's freelancers. So they try to strike out on their own, but it's even with the big name of the Mantis, who is a famed assassin, kind of like Kill Boksoon, famed assassin. Even with a big name like that, it's hard to create a company by yourself. So they're struggling. Meanwhile, Doc Go is trying to steady things at MK Enterprises. During that time, Mantis comes across a game developer that wants to make his games more realistic, so he wants to hire actual top level assassins to pretty much mocap for his game. So he makes the proposition to Mantis. Mantis turns it down, and that didn't go so well with his friends, but they stick with him anyway. So after that, they try to still make it work out, but Jay makes an ultimatum to Mantis because Jay is also a top level assassin. She's also, while she's Mantis's friend, his closest friend, she's also a top level assassin trying to make a name for herself outside of the Mantis name. Into the corporation that Mantis and his friends try to create is actually called the Mantis Corporation. Jay wants to make a name for herself. So while they're trying to strike out on their own and get these top level missions and make money for themselves, Jay feels as though she can't really make a name for herself while she's still working for Mantis. So she gives Mantis an ultimatum and they fight it out. Mantis tries to create the peace, but she's not having it. So she leaves the group and goes to work for the game developer guy. Now, there, she can make a name for herself. She's pretty much the star there. She's doing all the mocap stuff and she's a star over there. Meanwhile, uh Jay's friends and Mantis are still trying to make it work under the Mantis Corporation that they made for themselves. Doc Go over at MK Enterprises is steadying things and he's trying to tell everyone in a meeting that here is the new normal. Here are the new rules for the freelancers trying to make a name for themselves. Here's what we're going to do for them. And the people who are trying to make a company for themselves. Here's the new rules. But during that meeting, Jay attends that meeting and interrupts and says pretty much that she's staking her claim and she might need to take over MK Enterprises herself because she has now grown into her own name over at the game developer place and they're trying to now swallow the gutted MK Enterprises while the getting's still good, while they still can. But Doc Go is still very much able to take out J.E. And the Mantis knows that, so he tries to intervene on behalf of J.E. But at the end of the day, J.E. sends Doc Go, Mantis' teacher, a bloody knife. Now, in the world over there, in the assassin world, you send somebody a bloody knife, you pretty much saying, hey, it's go time. It's a me or you. One of us got to go. And since he's the chairman of MK Enterprises, she pretty much said, I want to take your company. All right, so she sends him the bloody knife. Mantis makes some calls to see what he should do about this situation. He gets some counsel on what to do, and he intervenes on behalf of J.E. and said he sent the knife. And that is not going according to plan for J.E. So they all meet up at MK Enterprises and have this three-way battle, like Thunderdome style. 3 people enter, 1 person died, and the other 2 have to now live in this new uncertain assassin world and see how it works for them. And that's pretty much the movie. I'll say this. The movie's good. The movie's good. It's not as good as Boksoon because it's trying to create a new story from the from the great movie Boksoon, but the wreckage of what happened in the movie. So they're busy trying to create a story, which is probably why it's not as good as Boksoon. It's not as fresh, but it's still a good movie. The pacing is good. It's basically a 2-hour movie, so they had plenty of time to let you know who the characters were. Me personally, my favorite is Soon Mi. She is one of Mantis and J.E.'s friends. She decided to stick with Mantis and just like never question them. And it's like, hey, that's a pretty good employee. And she's got skills on her own. So my favorite character is like Mantis, then Soon Mi, then the rest of them. So the characters, they're explained pretty well. You get the pretty good feel of what kind of people they are. Can't stand the game developer. But the character explanation is pretty well. The pacing is good. It never really seems rushed. Everything goes according to its time. Yeah, the pacing is good for the movie. The setting is not as good as the Boksoon movie, but they move around a lot, and you got some pretty good fight settings and places that they traveled to. They went to different homes. They went to MK Enterprises, different places within that place. Uh, yeah, the settings was pretty good. Once again, it could have been better, but it was good. The music was basically non-existent. It's pretty much mood music to get you to feel the tone of the scene that you're currently in. The action, ah, I can honestly say, if you're watching Kill Boksoon, you're gonna find the action here a little bit lacking. It's not as supernatural. It's good fight scenes when it has fight scenes, but they're so busy building up the story of what's supposed to happen that they're not going on as many missions, and there's not as many fight scenes as there were in Kill Boksoon. When you get a fight scene, it's good. It's a good fight scene, but I found it pretty lacking that they didn't have as many fight scenes. That's pretty much the only real gripe I had with the movie. It's not as much action as Kill Boksoon, but the action was good when it's there. It's just it wasn't enough of those moments. So I gotta make a gripe on the action. Overall, the movie is good. Once again, not as good as Kill Boksoon, but it's a good movie. I hope they continue. I hope they continue with this Kill Boksoon stuff storyline. What happens from here on out? Do MK Enterprises ever really gets built back up? Do the Mantis Corporation, does it flourish? What happens with the game developer? What happens with that whole ordeal? Yeah, the story doesn't seem to be over. It leaves some cliffhangers. So yeah, I'd like to see more of this. But overall, yeah, it's a good movie. It's a pretty good movie. I'm not mad at all, except for the I'd like to see more action. If they make another movie, I'd like to see more action. But other than that, yeah, it was a good movie. I'd say 7 out of 10. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. But yeah, the Mantis movie, it was good. It was a good continuation. Kill Boksoon was much better though. In fact, Gil Boksoon herself overshadows everybody in that movie. That chick is straight up supernatural. Okay, no regular human is doing the stuff uh Gil Boksoon was doing in that movie. In this, it's more grounded. The moves are almost achievable by a regular human. I would say they actually are if you're trained enough. But yeah, this is more grounded. So 7 out of 10 for me. 7 out of 10 for me. Mantis was a pretty good movie.